Next up, we have Alex Hillock from the Nice Challenge XPCyber team. He's going to be talking a little bit about some tools. I personally integrate some of these into my classes. So if you're looking for a lot of hands-on, which seems to be the theme of today, definitely check out their project and how they're going to work on it. But I'm going to turn it over to him to talk a little bit about what they're working on. Thank you for being here.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the introduction page. As was mentioned, I am Alex, and I'm breaking form a little bit here. I am not an educator myself, but I'm hoping what I get to show off today will at least be of some use to all you educators out there. I am the content team lead and community manager. I do all the train the trainer sessions. So if anything I say is of any interest to anybody, I look forward to working with you in the future. So, with that all out of the way, let's talk about the XP Cyber range. So, our whole goal here really is to bring the workforce, the cyber workforce experience before the workforce itself. And we try and do that through a multitude of different ways to pull that off. And I'll mention ahead of time, we are a totally free platform and we require zero downloads. This can all be done on a web browser, all on a Chromebook, whatever you need. We were really about trying to remove these barriers to entry. So, yeah, without further ado, let's kind of talk about how we bring that workforce experience. So, I'm going to jump over here, and this is kind of just going to help me explain how this all works. And it all starts with these challenges that we create. And then these challenges are designed to essentially assess competency. And to do that, we take a look at these work roles that these frameworks have kind of prescribed out there. And through that view of a work role, we try and bring a task to life. So in the example I'm going to show today, a student will basically be dropped in or taking on the role of a system administrator. And then we're going to try and assess if they're competent in installing, updating, or troubleshooting a system or a server. So all that comes directly out of the framework itself, and then we get to have our fun. We get to start talking about immersion here. So to start, we set up this entire scenario, basically this backdrop to what the student's going to be essentially trying to solve. And in this example, we're saying, hey, DOS Webs, which is this fictional company, they just purchased a new server to run their production website on, but it's got the bare minimum of setup. So after an employee discovered this, we're going to ask you to start doing some things on that server itself. Now, that's all well and good. We've got the stage set, we have this scenario, but we like to dive a little bit deeper in that whole immersion, that complexity and depth. So, moving right along, most labs, at least that I've experienced, were very niche. And while those definitely have their place, we're trying to make the student uncomfortable. We are going to drop them into a fully functional yet fictional business environment. And then what we expect is them to problem solve their way out of it. We don't want them to come in knowing everything because that's just not a realistic expectation in our view. We really are trying to just facilitate, hey, even though you're unfamiliar, can you problem solve your way out of this? Not so much memorize a single solution and then keep trying to repeat that. We find that that just doesn't tend to last in this field. You always got to keep learning. You got to know how to solve problems. So this is one of the ways that we try and accomplish that. Now, another one, this is probably the favorite bit, is instead of step-by-step instructions, we've actually created fictional characters that have their own place within this company, and we simulate a conversation. Basically, what you might see in like a Slack or a Teams meeting, but they're having this back and forth. And what we're testing here is, hey, as a student, can you pull out the important contextual details to get the job done? And sometimes not everything that somebody says is going to be useful. That unfortunately is just the way it is. So here, not only are we trying to see if a student can pull out the important contextual details, but essentially, can they do this without skimming? That tends to be one of the major kind of hangups when students are just kind of trying to slam through labs. Is this is really kind of pumping the brakes and saying, hey, we're really trying to immerse you in this experience. Make sure you're paying attention. So, in that vein of trying to bring the task to life, we have a couple things we're trying to do here. The first one is we're letting the student know, hey, this is what you're going to have to be working on, this production web server. We give an IP address and what subnet it's in, so they can cross-reference that network map to figure out, okay, this is the machine that I need to work in. And then on top of that, we're asking them to do a couple different things. So we have these checks up here. And this is an entirely automated system where you don't have to refresh the page, you don't have to click any buttons. It's just constantly monitoring end states. And in that same vein, we also, when we design these challenges, we're trying to be solution agnostic, right? Because there's not always just one way to solve a problem, there's multiple. So that's why we constantly look at end states instead of methods themselves. So let's go ahead and kind of pull out the important details here. One of the first two tasks that we're going to go for is, hey, this person here needs a new account on the web server itself. We also give the naming scheme for creating that account name. And on top of that, they need to give sudo/administrator privileges. So students read through this, they feel like they're ready to go. Now they're off to the races. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a console here. Again, trying to avoid any downloads, anything like that. And they are dropped in. This is up to them to figure out how to do it. Now, the example I showed today is fairly easy. We have about 150 different pieces of content here, all these challenges with these kind of work role/task related focuses. But they got to figure this out. So now that I'm here and kind of short on time, I'm going to go ahead and log in and I'm going to do these tasks real quick here. So I'm going to say, okay, I need to add a user account. I could go and Google that real fast and I'll probably find a result really quick. One of the tools, at least the one that I'm familiar with, is the user add utility. So I'll do that and then I'll do the account name itself. And then boom, I'm good to go. One of the next steps was to give sudo/administrator privileges. So another way to pull that off, sometimes I'll see users basically edit the sudoers file, which is all well and good. But if I notice here, we also have a group that I could add that user to. So it's really trying to show off, hey, look, if a student wants to give direct sudo privileges, that's fine. But if you want to add them to that sudo group, you could basically say, okay, let's do that instead. I'll do a sudo user mod. I want to add to the group wheel the G Thatcher account. And that will also accomplish the objective. So really, we're just about that student freedom to figure something out on their own, not try and memorize a specific process here. So I'll jump back to the range here. Again, didn't need to refresh the page. These checks take about a minute to update, but once they're done, there's one more thing we ask of them, and we're pretty big on this, but it's essentially to document their methodology. Now, once they've gone through all that, what does that mean to you as an instructor? Well, after they've completed the task and they submitted their attempt, we generate this fully detailed report on all that went on. So in this example that I have pulled up here, student took about 22 minutes to pull this off. They got all the checks. If I look over at this time bar graph, this is probably the best bit of information here because it'll give you a lens into where a student may be excelling or struggling on a specific task. Maybe you could give them extra guidance on, hey, it took you a lot longer to figure out how to update a certain package or how to update the system. So you can give them resources to kind of facilitate that learning where they may be struggling. And then on top of that, I have a nice little example of the documentation that a student may be providing. So in this example, the student was saying, here's the modifications. I created the user account. I provided new privileges. But you'll notice here, we've got a little red blip on the chart. And the reason for that is they said, well, first I did the sudoers config file, but I removed them after finding a better method. So this is really just a real quick summary of the report that you instructors can use to essentially kind of get an idea of where a student's at. We're all here to kind of assess this competency. So yeah, that's the report. On top of that, you can also provide feedback to the student asynchronously. So yeah, we're really hoping that this platform is useful. Again, it is totally free. And beyond that, if anything I said was of any interest today, all you have to do is navigate to this xpcyber.com website. And down kind of in the middle of the page here, we have a Get Started link. So that's it for me. Thank you for your time. And if anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody have any questions? Okay, cool. Thank you so much for being on. If anybody does have questions, there's breakout rooms available. And also if anybody wants to share emails in the chat, feel free. But thank you again.